In these next couple of slides, the biggest thing I think I wanted to point out was how, do you remember when we had the other ones that had two names? Okay, and like the it was they had names like this: the corticospinal, the reticulospinal, that sort of thing. Okay, well, just like we have with the spinal nerves, with the cranial nerves, this once again is telling us where we have something start and where something ends. Okay, so if we look at this one, for example, and we see corticospinal, what does it make you think about? Cortex, okay? And how about spinal? The spine. So what that's telling us is that initiation, the start, begins in the cortex, ends in the spine. So one of the, like if we're thinking about a direct pathway, that's a direct pathway to make the effect, E, okay, happen. So this time, one of the differences in the tracks is we have something that is bulbar. Okay? So, bulb. All right? When we think about corticobulbar tracts, we've got to remember that we have the brain stem now involved. All right? So with the cranial nerves, bulbar, okay, we can have it associated with the brain stem. So these are just letting us know where an impulse starts and ends. I would not ask you every one of these, okay? The way that I would do this would be simply to say, all right, if you saw, for example, reticulospinal, where does it start? In this case, the reticular formation, and it would end in the spine. I would not dare say, okay, which tract or which pathway is maintenance of posture? I would not ask you that. I do, though, want you to understand that the definitions are letting you know where it starts, where it ends. Okay? Does that make sense? So in these pathways, once again, information can be direct, have its origin, have its destination, and no pit stops in between. But anything indirect, there are pit stops, i.e. stopping at some of the things that they show, stopping at the midbrain, stopping at the reticular formation before it actually gets to the spinal cord. The direct pathway is going to go directly to the spinal cord. It's not going to make little pit stops along the way.
Is the reticulum in the brainstem?
The reticular formation, it's a diffuse, it's nuclei that are diffuse throughout the brainstem. So they have the ability for information to go to many different areas of the brain. Now those cranial nerves, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 12. Now, some of the things about the cranial nerves, they have to be signified by their Roman numeral. You cannot just say cranial nerve. You cannot just say optic nerve. You need to include that Roman number. And since there are 12, this means we have 12 of them. Now, when we look at the nerve itself, the nerve itself may have only sensory capabilities. It might only have motor capabilities. Some of them, parasympathetic. Ever heard of that? What does that mean?
Does that mean it has both?
Well, there's a part of the nervous system that we get to in Chapter 15 called the autonomic nervous system. And we're going to see that there are sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. So this is telling me this is now going to get involved with my autonomic nervous system, which is a lot of fun if you're familiar with sympathetic and parasympathetic. So those cranial nerves, if they're sensory, this is your olfactory, your optic, and the vestibulocochlear. If it's motor, trochlear, abducens, accessory, hypoglossal. There's one that's body, soma, motor and sensory, the trigeminal. All right. Parasympathetic, oculomotor, then the ones that go to all of them, sensory, motor, and parasympathetic, facial, glossopharyngeal, vagus. Love the vagus nerve. All right. Anybody familiar with the vagus nerve? Like go to Vegas and see Elvis? Told my boyfriend, he, I said, I want to go get married in Vegas by Elvis. He was kind of like, really? I said, yeah. And he's like, well, I was kind of thinking more along the lines of this, and I'm going to Vegas and get married by Elvis. Because, anybody familiar with Elvis?
Yeah.
Everybody, okay. No? Don't know Elvis.
Oh, I know him.
Oh, Elvis. Well, that should, once again, how old I am. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry when he died.
Oh man, I still remember to this day. I still remember where I was standing outside when I was told he had died.
So Mama can't believe he cried when he died.
Oh my God! Oh man! Whew. And so the reason he died, the vagus nerve. This cranial nerve hits every organ of the body. And it's involved with every system. Yeah, buddy. So it's pretty cool nerve. So in your textbook, there's a lot of explanation about every single cranial nerve. What I want you to know, all right, the names. And if you go out on the internet and look up mnemonics for the cranial nerves, you will find a lot of them, okay, to help you learn how to put them in order. Learn if it's either sensory, motor, both, or that one, those three that are all of them. Their location, which is all right through here. They're pretty much in order. There's only, I think, two that are not in order, and that's because of the way they were discovered.
What did you say online again?
The mnemonic. In other words, it'll give you like a little saying to help you go, okay, well, here I've got my olfactory, I've got my optic, and yeah,
Okay.
It'll give you a little mnemonic for putting them in order. Make sure you know their spelling. So if I were to give you a picture to label on the next test, I want you to be able to do that. And like I said, so far as the labeling for them, they're pretty much in order, except for 2, I think.
Oh, sorry, I have a quick question. On the composition, you said sensory motor both or all?
The one that has the 3 that have the sensory motor and the parasympathetic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I want you to be able to tell me. So if I were to create a question that has a picture like this. This is page 275 in lab 18. All right. So if I were to take this picture and take all this stuff off, okay, I would want you to be able to label them with the correct spelling. Then let's say that if I put together matching, so let me know, is it sensory, motor, parasympathetic? Would you be able to do this? Yes, ma'am. I would be able to do that. Right?
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, like I said, for the most part, in order. Okay?
What do you mean that some of them are out of order?
Now. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, they have put them in order now. Okay, so was that's the one that's flipped. Thank you.
Which one's split?
Accessory and hypoglossal.
I'm not going to do that. I will not. Oh.
11 and 12. Okay, I think that pretty much ends chapter 14. Oh, no, sorry. My one that I like, the Vegas. Okay,